What's up, y'all? Welcome back. It's your boy G's, man. Welcome back. Today we will be discussing the evil twins, Lil Durk and King Von. We're gonna dive deep into the history, the past, and the present of Lil Durk and Von, the evil twins.
I already took 13 shots, nigga. Nigga, and I don't know what it's for. You know why? I killed me. I got a lot of.
We're gonna talk about that just a little bit. I'm gonna play the video. Shout out to Trap Lord Ross for giving us, this good content, and we're gonna react to it. Let's just get right into it.
Lil Durk's most famous OTF signee, King Von, is often described as one of Chicago drill's best storytellers, and he's seen as probably the genre's most authentic voice. Von's real life truly matched the gritty and violent themes that he was rapping about, and in many ways, King Von was a larger-than-life character, a rapper that arguably single-handedly brought the Chicago drill genre back and took gangster rap to daring new heights. But also, unfortunately, in the streets, King Von was a prolific killer, with a rumored 7 murders under his belt, something that I've covered extensively on this channel in my long video, King Von Rap's First Serial Killer. If you want to learn about those murders, go and watch that video, but in this video, I'll be digging much deeper into Von's relationship with Durk. As I mentioned earlier, King Von originally grew up in a hood called Killer Ward, located in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood, but he would later move to the infamous Parkway Gardens, better known as O Block, a hood that's been affiliated with Durk's Lamron set for a long time, when it was still known as Wick City, that meant wild, insane, and crazy, with both sets united by the fact that they rep the 64th Street or 064. Durk and Von's friendship goes back long before Von's rap career, with Reddit rumors suggesting that they actually knew each other since the late 2000s or early 2010s, while Von himself would state in an interview that they'd known each other since Von was in the 6th or 7th grade.
How'd you guys meet?
Growing up, same area, hoods, you know how that go.
Do you remember the first time you met him?
First time, nah. We always be outside, deep as hell, so probably first time.
Or maybe what age?
Around like 6th grade or something, 7th grade.
But didn't go to the same school?
Nah, I'm younger.
What we do know for sure is that Durk was known to hang out with members of O Block during the early 2010s, as can be seen from Chief Keef's August 2011 music video for the song Bang, where Durk can be seen with his Lamron partner, Lil Reese, supporting Sosa on his budding rap career. One story that underscores the bond between King Von and Lil Durk is from 2014, when Lil Durk supposedly lent King Von his watch to take to the prom of his then girlfriend at the time, a girl called Mena Red, who's actually the sister of Von's old friend, the rapper Tay 600, nowadays better known as Tay Capone. In an interview with Karen Civil, Durk would recall the story, explaining how Von would get locked up the very next day.
We've been locked in, since we was younger. My brother Vernie put us into him. We just started locking in real heavy. And then, I think we was going on prom. I gave him my watch to go on prom. He go on prom, he locked up the next day with it. So when he came out, it was like, oh yeah, we locked in.
Shout out to Lil Durk, a real genuine bull, real genuine dude, man. Free Lil Durk, man. Free Lil Durk. One of my favorite artists. Probably my favorite drill artist. Well, he's definitely one of them. But shout out to Lil Durk, man. Free that guy. Free that man. Free that man.
Which is crazy.
According to online rumors, the reason for Von's arrest would be a shooting that Von did on the way to prom with Lil Durk's very good friend Lil Varney. And there's actually a picture of King Von toting a pistol in a white prom suit that still circulates online. Now, this was actually a shooting too that Von would later allegedly talk about in his song Don't Wanna Be Me, when he raps how the police would catch him right after the shooting, but Mena Red would seemingly attempt to claim their guns and take the case for them. Durk would then go to his Twitter and tell his followers to write to Von in jail, referring to him as his brother and saying how Von's gonna be home real soon. But that wasn't the case, as Von would eventually get charged with the May 2014 murder of a young man named Malcolm Stuckey. Von would later reveal that while he was locked up for this murder, Durk was one of the few people consistently taking care of him.
When I got locked up for the drama, Durk was the main one supporting me, to helping me. So we got even closer when I was just in jail. Then I got out. He flew me out there with him, got the rapping. So me and Durk, we like.
Von would eventually beat his charges and get released in December 2017, and Durk would almost immediately take him under his wing and out of the reckless street life that nearly destroyed his life. And soon after, King Von would sign to Lil Durk's OTF collective, and inspired by Durk's success, he too would turn to rap as a means of changing his life.
Before they finish, I'm saying these two artists from Chicago who signed the OTF. So.
Okay, so that's Book right
Book
there.
600 and King Von. So
And they signed to you.
yeah, actually they got their own face and name, so they don't need me.
Oh, they don't need you.
okay.
Oh, they
So-
don't need you. So
My phone.
Durk would waste no time helping Von make his mark on the rap game, bringing him to the popular radio show The Breakfast Club shortly after Von had begun dropping his first songs, with Durk describing him as somebody with a gripping story to tell, perhaps smoothly hinting to his secret past as a 7-time killer in his neighborhood.
King Von,
King
V-O-N,
Von, I'm sorry.
K-I-N-G.
Maybe you want to sign King Von.
Cause he got a whole story behind him. You know what I'm saying? he from O Block.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? That should speak for itself. Nah. But now I'm saying he just real. Know what I'm saying? His music, just real. It just with him. Know what I'm saying? It's my brother, twin. I've been with him his whole journey in jail.
Mhm.
And I ain't gonna lie, like he ain't never say nothing about rapping.
The interview actually featured an iconic moment where Charlemagne asked Von his story, and Von proudly boasted that he just beat a body in 2 attempts, even hinting that he did indeed do the murder and only got off due to Lil Durk helping him with an expensive lawyer.
Story, what's your story?
My story, I just got out of jail for just beat a body in 2 attempts. Like, December? I just got out, started rapping.
So you was in jail for 2 murders?
Yeah, 1 murder and 2 attempts. I just beat.
How you beat that?
What you mean?
I mean, you didn't do it, clearly. But I mean, like, how? I mean,
You
it's
had-
hard to throw young black
What
men
he
in
did,
jail.
like, jury, like, you know,
lawyer.
like, you know, jury, yeah, look, you know.
That's expensive too, to take it to trial and all of that.
Yeah.
Number one, he sounds so confident. Von sounds so confident that he ain't do that shit. But everybody in the world think he did it. That's the crazy thing.
Man, if your brother got on $500,000 worth of jury, he gonna have a lawyer.
Von's breakout moment would come just weeks later in December 2018 with the song Crazy Story, a vivid depiction of a robbery gone wrong. The song's powerful storytelling captivated listeners and amassed over 100,000 views on its first day, which shocked even Von himself. But their shared success wasn't without turbulence, as it seemed that Von would bring the Chicago street mindset back to Lil Durk's life, who at this point had already seemingly moved on to bigger and better, more positive things, living the rapper lifestyle all the way out in Atlanta. In February 2019, not even a year after Von had signed to OTF and begun dropping music, Durk and Von would allegedly take part in an incident that would land them an attempted murder case in Atlanta. Allegedly, an altercation would take place outside of the Varsity restaurant, where Durk and Von, along with their friend and fellow OTF affiliate THF Bezu, as well as another Chicago rapper, AAB Hella Bands, would allegedly shoot and rob a man by the name of Alexander Witherspoon. Police would claim that Durk was caught on camera during the incident, firing from his custom Jeep Trackhawk with a large 300 printed on the side. But the surveillance footage of the incident was seemingly from an angle that left much ambiguity to who had ultimately been the one shooting.
This is the car and this is the SUV. So you're gonna see it in just 1 second.
So the car with the lights on was also.
That's the car that the gentleman's in. Like I said, if you're looking at it, hey guys, look. So in a minute you're about to see it.
Okay.
So I can't tell where he came up from, but you're gonna see the green shoes in a minute. So look at right here. This is the car. The SUV behind it is the SUV. And all those girls are talking in the SUV. And in 1 second, you're gonna see the guy get out tussling. It look like they're in the back tussling or something, but you really can't tell what's going on. But if you see inside of that car, you see all that tussling.
Right.
So this is the guy.
It's,
That's the guy with the green shoes. He's trying to push the door and all that. So I don't know if he has a firearm too, but I know he falls a couple of times.
okay, there he is.
That's him. That's him steady running.
Hit.
He's steady running, and then you'll see him fall out in front of us. That car was shooting in that one too.
As weeks passed following the incident, Lil Durk and King Von continued their lives as if nothing had happened, while Atlanta police methodically pieced together their investigation. And in May 2019, the facade would come crashing down as King Von was ultimately arrested, with dramatic footage showing over 30 Chicago police officers swarming O Block to take him into custody.
Stay on the ground. Stay on the ground.
Gang,
Just don't resist. Don't resist.
gang, why y'all grab me? What the fuck y'all?
Other footage would show King Von in the precinct after his arrest. Shortly after, Durk voiced his support on Twitter, simply writing, "Free Von." But then another tragedy would strike just a week later, when AAB Hella Bands, real name Amir Golston, was gunned down outside of a Miami nightclub in the early hours of the morning. AAB Hella Bands, who's from the so-called Wild 100s in the far south side of Chicago, had allegedly killed another rapper in 2015 who went by the name of Chris Smokes and belonged to a set called LSG 109th, also known as Kush Cowboys or T3 Gang. The LSGs, or Lynchman Sircon Gangsters, have a long history, allegedly going back all the way to the original Supreme Gangsters that preceded the Gangster Disciples, as well as the Black Gangster Disciple Nation alliance between the GDs and BDs that was formed between Larry Hoover and David Barksdale. Allegedly, 4 years after Hella Bands had killed Chris, a member of the LSG by the name of Austin Hall would fly to Miami to kill Hella Bands as revenge for his fallen friend, catching him in front of a busy nightclub, with the assassination being caught on video surveillance.
And Miami Beach police are releasing some surveillance video they say captures the shooter as he tries to run away. Newly released video obtained from the Miami Beach Police Department shows people running for their lives on South Beach. Moments later, this man is seen running diagonally across Washington Avenue. Miami Beach police now say they believe this is the man who opened fire, killing 24-year-old Amir Golston, better known as rapper AAB Hella Bands, and sending another man to the hospital.
A Miami Beach spokesperson would later reveal that Hella Bands had been wanted in Atlanta for the attempted murder and robbery case involving Durk and Von.
The victim in this case, it was wanted out of Atlanta PD. Actually, he had an active warrant for attempted murder, armed robbery.
Meanwhile, according to the Chicago Police Department's website, 2 days after Hella Bands' death, THF Bezu would be arrested in Chicago as a fugitive from justice, allegedly tied to the same Atlanta shooting. However, despite Von and Durk's legal troubles, their music careers had flourished. Just weeks after Von's arrest for the shooting and robbery incident, the remix for his hit song Crazy Story featuring Lil Durk would drop, becoming a massive hit, even landing the track on the Billboard Global 200, being sat at a whopping 122 million views. 1 week after the release of this remix, Lil Durk took to Twitter to announce that he would be turning himself in for the same crimes the following day. But before doing so, he would actually sit down for a TV interview in his lawyer's office, where he claimed his innocence and vowed that he had moved past the street gang life of his youth.
You're about to surrender as we speak.
Yeah.
How come?
Because I have nothing to hide. Like, I have nothing to run from.
A rapper's ride. Soon after we spoke, Dirk Banks, a.k.a. the performer Lil Durk, emerged from his lawyer's space and headed toward an SUV. Soon after that, he stepped out in front of the Fulton County Jail. One of his lawyers says he was swiftly taken into custody there, having swiftly flown back to Atlanta after he found out he was wanted.
We found out we had a warrant. We was actually on tour. Once I heard, I immediately came back.
He's willing to turn himself in and take care of what he needs to take care of.
We immediately canceled the tour.
He's got a multi-million-dollar salary music career going.
Did you do it? Did you shoot this man? Did you commit the other crimes of which you're accused?
No.
Banks indicated his lawyer told him not to discuss the specific facts of the case, but he confirmed what his attorney Manny Aurora said, that as a youth, Banks was drawn into the gang life that surrounded him in Chicago, but that's not who he is today.
I had a bad background, just growing up as a child, about father being incarcerated for 25 years, 26 years. So I had a rough past. But like me moving to Atlanta, I just thought that just changed my whole identity of thinking.
Not long after this, Durk and Von would appear together in what would become an iconic court appearance, solidifying their image as the evil twins, who weren't just rappers from the same area, but a dynamic duo of gangsters ready to get shooting at a moment's notice.
Banks released a single, Turn Myself In, the day he turned himself in. It's gotten almost 7 million views. The prosecutor charging this wasn't just a robbery and shooting, but gang activity. She put a Chicago detective on the stand to testify that Banks and Bennett are members of Chicago gangs.
Is it possible to continue your affiliation and even commit crimes when you move out of Chicago if you're in a different city or a different area?
Yes, ma'am. Following some intense legal back and forths, which included testimonies from Lil Durk's pastor and record label, Durk would be granted a $250,000 bond in June 2019.
Lil Durk's pastor and record label all testified on his behalf, and at the end of it, the judge determined that the rapper is not a flight risk and granted him a $250,000 bond.
Celebrating his release, he would hop on Instagram Live, visibly relieved as he ran out of jail.
Yo, we out here. We out here. Yo, what's up? I'm getting fired in the motherfucking apartment. They talking 15 minutes, I'm talking 30. I'm sitting there. All right. Mm-hmm.
Oh, we were still waiting on the driver to come up. Just hop in. We waiting on the driver. Hey, you can just stay right here.
Another car is about to pull up. No.
I'm back.
Hey, thank everybody for the love and support.
Yeah, definitely appreciate everybody for rocking out with us, supporting us, believing us, you know.
During the live session, Durk would tease fans by mentioning that King Von would be coming home the very next day.
Von will be home tomorrow.
Shortly afterward, Durk would proceed to do an interview on his time in jail from his home.
Then when you get in type of that, in a predicament like this, you would sit back and be like, damn, like why I ain't never do this more? Why I ain't never do this with my kids more? Why I ain't do this with my pops more, or my mama? You know what I'm saying? So it just sent me down, so I just understand life more.
Von's release would come a few days later after he was granted a bail of $300,000. However, one of the conditions of their release was that Durk and Von could not be in contact with one another, this even applying to promo runs and club appearances, with the judge essentially breaking up the evil twins for good. For real, these two childhood friends couldn't speak to each other for a pretty extended period in this time. This is something that Von would actually comment on during his March 2020 interview on No Jumper.
Isn't you and Durk, your probation or whatever is such that you're not supposed to be associating with other people who are part of the case? So is it like a thing where you're not supposed to be around each other?
Yeah, so yeah, me and Durk, we only see each other like at court if we got court.
So even when you're on tour, you can't really be around each other too much?
Nah, we can't. Hell no.
Damn, that's up.
Yeah, ugly.
Is that strange? Like just to have the court basically just saying you can't be cool with one of your best friends?
Yeah, because you know it's like I started out with him. Like he started up with me and everything. Like how people get to notice me. Not that he bringing me to his interviews and pulling up a chair right here and letting me sit right there.
Right.
Like even though it's just like it's supposed to say if he came No Jump, he'd have a chair right here for me. You'd be like, what the f- going on?
Right.
Now this is my artist. You see what I'm saying?
But all that stuff is out for right now, which is unfortunate.
That's what I'm saying. So they just say we caught the case and they remove me for everything. Like in all my shows, I only was having shows because of Durk.
Right.
Like he pulling me on his. You see what I'm saying? So I'm only going places with Durk. I'm only doing. So now it was time to. They put the case. You can't be around Durk no more. You can't move. So now I was only in the studio with Durk. I was on it. So now do everything on your own. You just gotta do it. So I just had to.
But while Durk and Von couldn't spend time together anymore, there was someone else who was seemingly occupying much of Von's time. As shortly after achieving rap stardom in 2018, King Von had begun dating the rapper Asian Doll, aka Asian Debrat, or simply Asian. The two lovebirds had first crossed paths at a celebrity basketball game where Von had tagged along with Lil Durk. Eventually, Von convinced her to go on a date, borrowing Durk's Trackhawk in an attempt to impress her. This Trackhawk actually being the exact one that was allegedly later used in the attempted murder case in Atlanta.
She sent the number. I was saying she live in Atlanta. Now, when I go to the crib, now Durk out of town. He left his truck in my car. He got a track out. That was raw. So I got Durk's car today. So I go pick up. I tell her I'm going to take her out.
From here, the couple soon became inseparable, frequently being seen together online, and Von would officially announce their relationship during a joint interview with Lil Durk on Shade 4-5.
King Von, I'm saying he in a relationship too.
Shout out Agent Dad.
Okay.
Yeah, he go ahead. Yeah.
You heard it here, man. He looking at you like, come on, man.
However, Von's legal problems didn't take a backseat. Even while out on bail stemming from the Varsity incident, Von's fiery personality would lead to more issues. He would actually allegedly end up briefly in jail again after getting into a studio fight with somebody who apparently disrespected Asian Doll, calling her a...
Tell him what happened to my hand, bro.
Folks overbeat his...
Call my girlfriend.
But in the end, a relationship between these two would get rocky, and it would be another rapper who would get himself mixed up in their drama. This rapper, of course, being Baton Rouge gangster rap superstar NBA Youngboy. Now, if you want to understand Youngboy's complicated and violent backstory, I've made a 6-hour deep dive on his life, so you can go and watch that for all the context if you don't know nothing about Youngboy. But to understand the origin of this beef between Lil Durk's OTF and Youngboy's NBA, or Never Broke Again collective, which would eventually end up leaving both Von and Quando Rondo's cousin Lil Pab dead, and Durk fighting for his life behind bars, we have to go all the way back to where it started, and it all started with Von. In late 2017, Lil Durk had dropped the song My Side that featured NBA Youngboy. In the song, Durk would acknowledge that he and Youngboy were a cut above the rest when it came to the rap game, and that they were setting the bar for the others. Durk was clearly a big fan of Youngboy, as well as fellow singing Southern street rapper Quando Rondo, who was signed to Youngboy's NBA label, as Durk would actually name both of them in an Instagram post where he listed his favorite 50 rappers of all time. Furthermore, in my opinion, the influence of Youngboy and Quando's style, a very unique approach of singing and using auto-tune to tell stories from the streets, really resonated with Durk and inspired him to keep making more of that same auto-tuned pain music. Youngboy, Quando Rondo, and OTF had a seemingly amicable relationship up to this point. In February 2019, Von and Quando were seen hanging out backstage at a show and filming a skit where Quando actually would diss Von's ops from 63rd Street in Chicago.
I'm saying though, they are 63rd dirty. I'm talking about hey, listen, no man, 64, y'all 63rd over there smoking crack.
Things seemed really positive between these two groups, but that was all about to change when a year and a half later, in early 2019, Von would hop on IG Live to call out Youngboy, claiming that he had lies or cap in his raps.
Youngboy talking about on this song, bro.
What?
You talking crazy on it.
Oh, yeah?
He ain't even like that.
Oh!
On this man. Cap. You got cap in your raps.
However, in August 2019, King Von would surprisingly tweet a welcome home message to Youngboy following his release from jail. So despite their growing tensions, there appeared to be a brief sense of camaraderie between these groups. Around the same time, Von would actually begin incorporating some of Youngboy's rhetoric into his own style, further blurring the lines between respect and rivalry. In October, DJ Academics would stir the pot by tweeting that NBA Youngboy was the realest street rapper to ever emerge since the original Chirac drill era, challenging fans to name another artist who really lived the life they rapped about. Without hesitation, Lil Durk would respond with a suggestion of his own, King Von. In February 2020, King Von suggested that he and NBA Youngboy had actually worked on music together, even calling on Youngboy publicly to release the track on Twitter. In a post that seemed to hint that Youngboy had been holding onto the song and blocking its release, in May, Durk would release his 5th studio album, Just Cause Y'all Waited 2, a sequel to a mixtape that he had dropped back in 2018. This album also containing the song Turn Myself In, which had been originally released in June 2019, just before Durk had been locked up for the alleged incident in Atlanta. The album would debut at number 5 and later became his first album to reach the top 2 on the Billboard 200. But as Durk celebrated his album rollout, King Von would be out instigating the beef and prodding Youngboy. And in August, he would tweet a cryptic message to his fans, claiming that they wouldn't believe the woman he had just made a hit song with. Later that same day, photos surfaced online of Von with Jania Michelle, the mother of NBA Youngboy's child, sparking a social media frenzy. Von escalated the drama by insinuating on Twitter that he had a sex tape with Jania and hinting that he could release something that could make someone stop claiming their kids. Jania quickly denied the rumors, attempting to shut down the speculation. However, leaked messages suggested that Von's actions were less about Jania and more about getting under Asian Doll's skin, revealing that his supposed collaboration with Jania was an effort to provoke Asian Doll, who he'd apparently split up with at this point. Asian would quickly dismiss Von's claims as lies, asserting that she had found direct messages between Von and Jania before they split up, just adding more fuel to the fire.
Oh, nah, I seen that in them DMs. I've been seeing it. She's lying. I've been seeing it. Been on dick. I've been seeing it. None of this not a surprise. This is just on the internet right now, you know what I'm saying? I've been new.
The very next day, NBA Youngboy would respond with an Instagram post aimed squarely at Von. And in a shocking move, Youngboy captioned the post with a vow to make sure that his son sleeps with King Von's daughter, turning the trolling into a deeply personal and slightly weird attack. Amid the escalating tension, Durk and Von's longtime friend from back in the days when OTF was something more than just a rap collective, Lil Reese, would enter the beef too, tweeting a bold threat that he planned to beat up Quando Rondo, a close friend of Youngboy and an artist on his NBA label. To which Rondo would respond by saying that Reese and the Chicago rappers in general wouldn't do nothing. At this point, the beef between Von and Youngboy had now broadened to include numerous people from both sides, and in September 2020, King Von would tweet what appeared to be a direct threat towards Quando Rondo and NBA Youngboy, saying that he hoped God had space for both of them. The following day, Quando Rondo's right-hand man, Lil Tim, would fire back on Twitter, warning Von and the other Chicago rappers to think twice before messing with Quando. But Von, unfazed, would respond the day after, saying that he'd been fighting his whole life and he could punch hard as hell. Around this time, Von would also begin publicly claiming that he was single and too focused on his career to be in a relationship. However, he would still be spotted at a club with Youngboy's baby mama, Jania Michelle.
So just like 2 days ago, Jania was spotted in the club with King Von's sister, and King Von was also there as well. You couldn't see them together, but you know they were together. If you know, you know.
2020 was truly King Von's year. He had dropped 2 successful mixtapes back-to-back, Grandson Volume 1 and LeVon James, and he was priming himself for a blockbuster debut with the much-anticipated project Welcome to O-Block coming. But also, by October, Von had shifted his focus to promoting his new song, Mine Too, a track that was subtly dissing NBA Youngboy as he would rap about how somebody's girl was Von's too, whilst also mentioning having beef in the NOLA, or New Orleans and Louisiana, the latter being Youngboy's home state. Also in October, Von would tweet that once a girl lets another man in, he would no longer want her, leading fans to speculate that he was referencing Asian Doll, possibly moving on, and rumors would then begin swirling that Von's ex-Asian Doll had actually met up with Youngboy, a claim that emerged after DMs from people in Youngboy's camp leaked. Meanwhile, Durk was going on the musical run of a lifetime. His momentum as a rapper was truly back, partly off the back of the street credibility that he'd received from his collaboration with Von, landing a blockbuster collaboration with rap's biggest star Drake in the form of the song Laugh Now, Cry Later, dropping in August, a track that swiftly went to number 2 on the Billboard charts. And Durk was gearing up to drop his 6th studio album, The Voice, releasing its title track in September 2020, while NBA Youngboy, on the other hand, was on a generational run in the rap game, releasing back-to-back #1 albums and flooding the market with music in a way that proved that you could provide quality and quantity at the very pinnacle of the rap game. He was also catching cases left, right, and center, and he was certainly one of the realest, if you will, gangster rappers to have ever done it, especially at that level at this point. But Youngboy was also still being petty and entertaining the beef. He would actually release a snippet in early November of a song that he had apparently recorded with Asian Doll with the threatening title Meet the Reaper, clearly taking a deadly hint towards this beef with Von. A dig which Von would respond to by tweeting that the song was trash and claiming that his and Janier's collaboration was much better. He would then even hint at having compromising pictures of Janier, but then later backtracked, saying that he was only joking and that if Asian Doll was happy, then he's happy too. But the song was still trash. In an interview with DJ Academics, Von would downplay the feud with Youngboy, saying that the internet was blowing it out of proportion.
People told me you and Youngboy was beefing or something like that. You said something about what happened, Von? What's going on with you, man?
They be saying that a lot. It's like we got the same interests and then you know how the internet will try to make it.
Don't tell me I got problems over girls.
No, it's the internet, gang. It's the you know, they'll try to make it like that because it's the internet. You see what I'm saying? And then you know how females will try to make it like that because they females and they'll try to make it like one motherfucker hard and try to. It be just all type, but it ain't nothing too serious, nothing you should worry about.
Tragically though, Von had no idea just how serious the situation was about to become, and only a few days later, events would escalate far beyond anyone's expectations. As has now been covered extensively in the media, on November the 6th, 2020, King Von would tragically lose his life in a shooting outside of the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta. The incident, which was captured on security cameras, seemingly began from Von initiating a fight with Quando Rondo. This unprovoked sucker punch would immediately descend into a full-blown jumping, and chaos would break out between Von and Quando's entourage.
He started treating Quando Rondo. He had to help him out because he started treating him. Boop, 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 boop. I said, damn. But I don't know what made Von do that. Von stood on business, man, but it cost him his life, man. If he would have never did that, he'll still be here today. He might be locked up because they started accusing him for bodies and all that, and he might have been locked up. But it's sad, though, because the way he went out, he went out like everybody say he went out like a gangster. He might have did though. He went out on his sword. You know what I'm saying?
During which time Quando's right-hand man Lil Tim would quickly exit a car that he was sitting in before calmly going around it and shooting at King Von, who was hit numerous times and would later pass away in the hospital. Adding an eerie layer to this tragedy, Lil Durk would be on Instagram Live when the news of Von's shooting broke, with fans flooding the comments letting Durk know what had happened, and after seemingly reading these messages, Durk would abruptly end the live. The hours that followed saw a media frenzy as tributes and reactions poured in. Durk took to Instagram to mourn his close friend, sharing a heartfelt post where he simply told Von he loved him. But while Durk was grieving, unfortunately, the internet wouldn't be kind to him, as in the midst of Durk mourning the loss of his friend, who was known as one of Chicago's most feared gangsters.
That's how it all started. Slide for Von. And this is why years later, Durk is in jail now, facing a murder for hire because of this little tweet right here. Slide for Von. Sheesh.
Who never let a violation go unchecked. Online, the phrase slide for Von would become synonymous with Lil Durk amongst fans of drill music, popularized by none other than Rainbow Head rapping snitch 6ix9ine. The trolling and troll-looking rapper commented on Lil Durk's tribute post for Von how Durk had first lost Newski and now Von, and that he was still just rapping, telling him to go and pick up a gun instead. 6ix9ine would continue his provocations during an appearance on DJ Academics' Off the Record podcast, accusing Durk of knowing who killed Von and doing nothing about it.
They know the exact that put 10 bullets in King Von and he died there by himself. Why nobody slid for that? I don't see you on Instagram saying, yo, go slide for that, man. Listen. Y'all know what y'all saying? Yo, y'all want to crash out. Y'all want no. Hold on.
That nigga start snapping. 6ix9ine start drawing. He was the one that really pushed that slide for Von shit. And this John like
Newski and now Von.
Lil Durk said, my twin going, I love you, baby, bro. D-Roy. 6ix9ine said, Newski, now Von, and you still rapping, go pick up a gun. 6ix9ine was trolling,
telling him to go and pick up a gun instead. 6ix9ine would continue his provocations during an appearance on DJ Academics' Off the Record podcast, accusing Durk of knowing who killed Von and doing nothing about it.
They know the exact that put 10 bullets in King Von and he died there by himself. Why nobody slid for that? I don't see you on Instagram saying, yo, go slide for that man. Y'all know what y'all saying? Yo, y'all want to crash out. Y'all want no.
What y'all think about this, man? For those of y'all who watching, let me know what's going on. Put something in the comments what y'all think about this story, man. This is a crazy story. The Evil Twins, Lil Durk and King Von. This is crazy, man.
Hold on. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Hold on.
Everybody know the story. Everybody know the story. Everybody know what happened. Everybody know who shot King Von. Everybody know who killed him. Everybody know what Lil Durk is fighting for his life right now. Everybody know the charges against him and all that. He fighting for his life. It's sad, man. A lot of lives is getting lost because of this situation right here. A lot of people died, got people in jail. It's just crazy, man.
Why this not shooting?
Let me be real with you. I
don't see you on Instagram say, yo, Durk, go sloppy me.
I discovered King Von.
No, I don't want to talk about King Von.
So
Why
I don't know no politics.
And listen, why is this not sliding on? How you know?
Fans would quickly adopt the "Slide for Von" slogan, using it relentlessly to troll Durk in the months following Von's death. Durk would respond to the "Slide for Von" narrative, stating that none of them slid for their people, so that they should stop talking about killing to him. However, at this point, it seemed like every post that Durk made on social media will become the target for comments demanding retribution for Von. People on Reddit would hold polls asking whether or not they believed that Durk would slide for Von, with the results showing a near even split, 53% voting no and 47% expecting vengeance. On December the 24th, 2020, Durk would release his much-awaited album, The Voice, which he would dedicate to King Von. The album would peak at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, and on January the 10th, 2021, he would tease a deluxe version that would later drop on January the 29th, 2021 with 12 additional tracks. Despite the losses that he was suffering, Durk's career still had an incredible momentum like he'd never seen before. During 2021, he would be featured on multiple hit songs such as No More Parties remix by Coi Leray, which reached number 26 on the Hot 100, Every Chance I Get by DJ Khaled, which hit number 20, No Return by Polo G that hit number 26, Sharing Locations with Meek Mill peaking at number 22, Jonah with Kanye West hitting number 27, In the Bible.
So as soon as this go off, we gonna pull up some more Lil Durk news with academics speaking on the situation and all that. We're gonna get a Lil Durk case update and Lil Durk lawyers speaking on his case as well, and if he can beat it or not, if he got a fighting chance, because right now the odds is against him right now, and it's fucked up because he's sitting in a federal prison in LA.
Another collab with Drake that hit number 7, and Who Wants Smoke with Nardo Wick going number 17 on the Billboard Hot 100. Durk was hot, and he was quickly becoming a fan favorite in the rap game. Genuinely, it was this hot run that made him the voice of the streets. However, despite all the success he was having in the music industry,
let me know what y'all think in the comments too, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Those of y'all who watching, let me know what y'all think, so I can post y'all comments and all that, and whatever y'all want to ask or talk about, just put it in the comments, man. Like, comment, subscribe.
Industry, clearly being at a loss in the streets was still having an impact on Durk's mindset, and he would even hint at the way that he was thinking in his new music. On October the 15th, 2021, Durk would release the emotionally charged track Piss Me Off, where Durk made it clear that he couldn't find peace until revenge was achieved, before following through with a promise of retribution. The music video for the song would show Durk far away from the studios and clubs of Atlanta, but actually back in his home turf in Taytown's Hood on 59th and Princeton. But in the meantime, rapper NLE Chopper would say in an interview with DJ Academics that he had actually tried to convince Durk not to retaliate musically.
When after this shit happened with Von and all that, a lot of all that was happening, bro, I was the one really in bro ear, like, know what I'm saying? I don't want to be this person in your ear to be like, know what I'm saying? Let this chill, like, don't move on it. But bro, I'm gonna be that person to let you know, bro, like, this cycle we in as black men is a never ending cycle. Cause at the end of the day, bro, we one person, we got one conscious mind. That's why when I'm thinking something, they might be thinking the same thing. Cause at the end of the day, out of us being black, white, Hispanic, whatever, we are a human being and we are one race. So when you do something, this why I know what's up with life now. This why I don't do nothing out of spite to people.
Only a month later, though, Lil Durk would drop the song Aha, a fiery diss that instantly went viral, amassing over 100 million views on YouTube. And in the song, Lil Durk would directly address the feud, opening with a bar that made it clear that he wasn't about to take NLE Chopper's advice about not responding to Von disses, instead telling his goons to go and pick up a gun. Unfortunately, as we all know now from the alleged indictment, it seemed that despite the promise of his rising rap career, Durk was completely consumed by seeking revenge for Von. And in the years that followed, Durk would seemingly set into motion a series of events that would ultimately see him and his friends in jail, fighting for their lives and freedom. But interestingly, whilst this was already going on, and before Von was even being killed, it would appear that behind the scenes, when Von was alive, he, perhaps with the assistance of Lil Durk, was continuing to wage war on their shared enemies, without a care for the survival of his budding rap career. Only a few months before Von died, there would be another prominent murder in Chicago, seemingly orchestrated by Von and carried out by a number of people who were close friends of both Von.
And this is why I go back and say that if Von was still alive, he would be locked up. And that's the reason why.
For the survival of his budding rap career. Only a few months.
FBG Duck was allegedly set up by King Von. Allegedly, he had a hit out on him, $100,000 hit on him. And the O Block guys drove all the way from O Block, like 30 minutes downtown, just to go do this hit. While Von was still alive. So that's why I said Von would be fighting this murder right here. He'll be fighting murder for hire as well. We don't know if he would beat it. He probably won't, because they got everybody from O Block on camera and all that, and they would have tied everything back to King Von. They probably would have did deals, or they probably would have snitched. We don't know. But it's fucked up. It's fucked up because a lot of people lost their lives through the jail system, and a lot of people lost their lives through death. And this is just a sad situation. Young black men losing their lives, man. It's just another sad. It was sad days in this world when guys got locked up and for murdering this guy right here.
Before Von died, there would be another prominent murder in Chicago, seemingly orchestrated by Von and carried out by a number of people who were close friends of both Von and Durk. And with Von being dead by the time these charges came to light, Durk would end up being the biggest name associated with the murder. And with Von's death still going unavenged at this point, Durk would seemingly continue to carry the torch, doing exactly what Von did, using his music and lyrics as a megaphone to tell the world about him and his crew's murderous ways, laying the groundwork for the authorities to build up a picture of Durk and Von as violent kingpins, using their fame and money to have anyone they didn't like killed without a care. And I'm of course talking about the murder of FBG Duck.
Sad.
So if he wasn't doing all this crime, they could possibly try to free some shit. I don't think it'll happen, but this is an angle because currently, to Bradford Cohen's point, they're pointing out Durk as the money man. And we could say it came through legal reasons with the or legal means with his career, but if his career is all about this type of stuff, isn't it intermingled? We'll find out later. Anyway, let me get back to it.
Close to him that was wearing a wire that would be willing to testify as to his involvement, because his involvement right now is kind of tangentially involved,
right? Where
he's the funder, but there's no direct allegation that he said, hey, this is what I want done. There's an allegation that he spoke in code and he could have said this and all these different things, but there's no allegation that says, hey, this is what he said and this is what was going to happen.
And to be clear, when we're talking about this, obviously there are multiple people involved. You can't have a conspiracy unless there are several people involved, especially something like this. Sure. So although Banks might be the most famous of the names that are called out in the indictment, he's not the only one. I'm going to list them out. In the indictment, we have Kevon London Grant, we have DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, we have Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, and Asa Houston. And the indictment also names 5 co-conspirators, with Banks being one of them. In the indictment, he's referred to by his initials DB, or co-conspirator 1. So here's a little bit of background on this case. And it really starts in 2020, because that is when Banks was with his friend and fellow Chicago rap nation, including the interview of one of witnesses. For example, assault at the direction of Banks and to maintain their status in OTF. For example, based on evidence collected during the investigation, including the interview of one of witnesses, I know that Banks put a monetary bounty out for an individual with whom Banks was feuding named TB. And then there's a footnote at the bottom of that page that reads, due to serious safety concerns, this affidavit does not provide the identity of these witnesses. Based on the FBI's investigation, I know that witnesses and or their family members have already received threats and or have been contacted in what appears to be attempts to influence their participation in this investigation. What do you make of that, Bradford?
So it's basic. Like a lot of these allegations, you can almost take each one of these and put them into every case that we've seen as of late, where witnesses are either contacted or witnesses are offered a monetary amount not to testify. And sometimes that comes with a civil case. Like if there's a civil matter that's outstanding, they might say, hey, listen, there's a civil matter that you could have, and we're going to give you a settlement of XYZ. The feds automatically take that as you're buying off a witness. So it just depends on the facts of those circumstances. Like I've seen it many times where the feds read into it differently than you would if you just read it yourself, wherein people are trying to be influenced. A friend of a friend might contact you and say like, hey, listen, this isn't a good idea to be a witness in a federal case. The feds take that as, oh, hey, this is, Bob Smith influencing this witness because he's friends with this person who's friends with that person. A lot of times that doesn't shake out the way that they put it in the indictment. And they put that in the indictment specifically for bond purposes, right? So when you go in for bond, they say, hey, listen, this guy's trying to influence everybody. And here's all these things. But when you actually get into the case, sometimes those things don't shake out, and then it's already too late because you already moved for bond and you didn't get bond.
That's the same thing that's happening with Sean Combs. I mean, well, that's Correct. A little different because he's not charged specifically with obstruction, but it's part of the racketeering count. I read this indictment. I didn't see anything that Lil Durk is charged specifically with obstruction or witness tampering. It's more the conspiracy. There's also federal weapons charges. So does that give you pause too that he's not? I mean, again, maybe I'm wrong, that he wasn't directly charged with anything like witness tampering, obstruction.
Yeah, it always gives me pause. Whenever the feds throw an indictment in, it gives me pause right away because a lot of times you'll see in the indictment, there's a lot of accusations in the indictment that when you start getting into it and it starts kind of flushing out the facts, they stretch what could be a basic fact, they stretch it into something that it's not. And I've seen this time and time again. So in this case, it could be individuals that are loosely associated with OTF or that is signed to the label or something else that has contacted a witness, and they're trying to put whatever they did onto Durk Banks. So that's the issue here, right? Is that they're just lumping them all together. They'll just say, hey, listen, because this guy did that, obviously Durk is the quote unquote leader of OTF. He must have known what was going on. Therefore, he shouldn't get a bond because this is a dangerous gang and etc. You notice they stopped short of saying this is a dangerous gang and said this is a dangerous association of individuals that known as OTF, which I thought was interesting because generally speaking, when it comes to any of these rap groups, so like, there's OTF and YNW and YSL, and they all say like, hey, all of these nicknames, this is all a gang. And even though it's a record label, it's also a gang. And that's kind of their argument with every single one of these. And that's going to be their argument here. But I thought it was interesting in the indictment, it didn't specifically say gang. It said an association of individuals that go under OTF. I thought that was kind of interesting because I don't know what kind of evidence they have to say OTF is or is not a gang legally, the legal definition.
I thought it was PTSD from the YSL trial. Let's not rush to call anything a gang because of all the trouble there. That's a separate conversation. We can have a long talk about that. Okay, but this I think could be problematic for Lil Durk, and I'll get into this.
We will get emails from the electricity company telling us like, hey guys, today there's a...
Because on the morning of October 24th, we have federal and local law enforcement. They execute these search warrants in Chicago. They arrest Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, Houston. And that is when they learned that Banks had booked multiple flights that were leaving the country. The affidavit says the FBI received notifications from U.S. Customs and Border Protection showing that Banks had been booked as a passenger on 2 international flights, a one-way flight from Miami to Dubai, United Arab Emirates, connecting through Doha, Qatar, scheduled to depart the evening of October 24th, and one-way flight from Fort Lauderdale to Switzerland, connecting via New Jersey, also scheduled to depart the evening of October 24th. Now, Banks didn't board either flight, but at approximately 6:40 p.m., the FBI received an additional CBP notification that Banks had been booked as a passenger on a private plane departing Miami and destined for Italy, scheduled to depart at approximately 9 p.m. At approximately 8 p.m., Banks was arrested by law enforcement in the vicinity of the departing airport. So, Bradford, I mean, that seems to be evidence that he might have been trying to leave the country. You tell me what you make of that.
So, I make a couple different things of that. So the first part of that is all the countries that he has, that Dubai is going to extradite you.
That's what I thought. All these countries are sending you to America.
Switzerland's going to extradite you. These countries are going to extradite. You know, the only places that don't extradite are like you go to Vietnam, you go to Morocco. There's certain countries that don't extradite, like strictly don't extradite. All these other countries, even if they don't have a treaty with the U.S. for extradition, they're going to extradite because they rely on the U.S. for money. They rely on the U.S. for support. Switzerland, especially. Italy will deport you in about 10 seconds. They'll extradite you in 10 seconds. So I don't make much of whether or not he was going to escape and flee the country. I think more than likely, and sometimes this happens, when
somebody said, "What about Bali?" I see y'all on Rumble. I see you, Beast.
it was unusual that there were so many booked, right? What's not unusual is sometimes where an individual doesn't know whether or not there's a warrant out for their arrest. And I've seen this before happen in the past, where some associates get arrested. And in order to see whether or not they have a warrant, because that's not public knowledge, whether or not they have a warrant, they'll book an international flight and it'll red flag them. And then they'll get a call from the FBI or their lawyer will get a call and they'll say like, hey, your client's red flagged. They're trying to leave the country. Just so you know, they're under investigation or XYZ. And you find out information you wouldn't necessarily find out. Now, I don't know if that's the case here because there were so many that were booked, but I have seen that before in the past where a client will call me and say like, hey, Bob Smith got arrested. Can you check if I have a warrant? We can't check if there's a warrant. Oh, no one tells us there's a warrant. So
just to be clear about that. So you're saying instead of they didn't have an option where he calls his lawyers and say, hey, can you check with the feds to find out if there's a warrant out for my arrest? That wouldn't work. So you're saying this is a way for him to find out, hey, am I in trouble? I'm going to book these flights and see if they get flagged.
Sure. And it's happened before. Now, the difference here is there's so many flights. You know, there's 2 or 3 flights that were booked. That's the weird part of it. But it wouldn't be weird for me to see someone that books a flight to the Bahamas. They book a flight to, Italy or Spain. And then, within 6 hours of booking that flight, they get a call or we get a call. That happens quite often. Now, it depends on your lawyer. Like, for example, me, if somebody says to me, hey, do I have a warrant out? And, my associate got arrested. I've been doing this so long, I can make a phone call and not necessarily find out if there's a warrant, but I'll find out. They'll tell me, hey, listen, don't have your guy leave the country. Like he's being watched. And then I know, okay, just let me know if I need to surrender him or whatever I need to do. And that's the relationship that you build over 30 years. Not everyone can do that.
That's an interesting alternative explanation for that. I'm sure it will come out in a bond, in a bond hearing if he's questioned about that. So let me go now to these alleged co-conspirators and what exactly happened here. So the indictment that was filed in the Central District of California gets into it, and it says that all of them conspired and agreed with each other to knowingly use facilities of interstate and foreign commerce, namely airplanes, cars, cell phones, and the internet, with intent that the murder of TB be committed in violation of laws of any state, namely the state of California, as consideration for the receipt of and consideration for a promise and agreement to pay anything of pecuniary value, namely money and lucrative music opportunities with OTF. So This is a murder for hire plot in exchange for career opportunities or money. And according to the FBI and other investigators, Banks was the one who put out this call for a bounty. And then he got word that his apparent target, Bowman, was going to be visiting Los Angeles. So authorities say they have proof that Banks and our OTF provided the funds for 5 people to fly from Chicago to San Diego and then apparently drive to Los Angeles, with the plan being to kill Mr. Bowman. The indictment lays out what we call overt acts that they say this group committed in furtherance of this conspiracy. You can't just have an agreement. You have to have overt acts, overt steps that were taken to actually commit this crime. And the apparent proof ties it back to all the defendants. For example, one overt act says, on August 18th, 2022, co-conspirator 1 texted co-conspirator 3, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me." So again, that's allegedly Lil Durk writing that. There are text messages between 3 of the defendants showing that they had the same airline ticket information. One of them also messaged someone on Instagram to say, "On my way to LA." And it's also being reported that Banks himself allegedly flew to Southern California on a private plane, was staying at a hotel in the San Fernando Valley, and authorities say they have camera footage that puts him there. Grant, who was allegedly a top OTF associate, bought ski masks, got cars, then gave 3 people guns, including one that had allegedly been converted into a machine gun. This is a federal crime. This is what prosecutors are alleging Grant did. And the indictment says that 6 people total, they traveled in 2 cars to the hotel in downtown LA where Bowman was supposedly staying. They allegedly started following Bowman, who was in a black Escalade with his cousin, Savia Robinson, known as SR. The indictment includes photos from a traffic camera showing the white Infiniti the suspects were in, seemingly following the black SUV. And the indictment says that the suspects then followed the Escalade to a Beverly Hills gas station, parked in an alley. And the indictment reads, on August 19th, 2022, at the Beverly gas station, the defendants Jones and Lindsay and co-conspirator 2 used the firearms procured by defendant Grant, including the fully automatic firearm, to shoot at TB's car, striking and killing SR, who was standing next to TB's car while TB was inside. And the images below show defendants Jones and Lindsay and co-conspirator 2 firing their guns at TB's black Escalade. So we have the death of SR. TB survived this attack. And the filing includes surveillance photos of what prosecutors say are the suspects appearing to fire guns towards the gas pumps. And you can see it's daylight in these photos at a gas station in the middle of Beverly Hills. So Bradford, whoever was responsible for this, what a blatant crime, what a blatant act in the middle of it. But talk to me how strong you think this case is based on what I've been saying. If we're trying to prove, if the prosecutors are trying to prove conspiracy, what do you make of some of this evidence? Text messages, surveillance, travel receipts. What do you make of it?
I think that Durk will still have a defense. I think that, I don't know everything that's going on. Obviously, no one does. From what I'm reading in the indictment, I think there's some missing pieces there when it comes to Durk about how involved he was in this alleged conspiracy. The other guys, where they all have plane tickets, they all got a car, they're on tape. That's going to be a very difficult case for those lawyers who have that case, because, and I've said this multiple times on multiple cases, there are so many ways these days to catch individuals in this type of crime, where you have cell phone records, GPS data. You're going to have cross-reference on the phones, what phones are together at what times. You're going to have car rental agreements. You're going to have videotapes. It's real funny because very often you find these red light cameras and things like that the feds get on state cases where I want the footage, where I know it's good for my client. They're like, sorry, we don't save that footage. But somehow the feds get, camera footage from red light cameras, camera footage from the next door neighbor, camera footage from some guy who's just randomly on the street. So you'll see that they will put together a forensic case against the actual shooters that, will be very heavily based on cell phone records, GPS data, and videotapes. Now, when it comes to Durk Banks, so far I've seen one text that says, don't have them associate my name with any kind of flights that they're taking. Certainly that's not a good text, but is that the only text? Because that doesn't, that in itself doesn't stand on its own. Certainly it's circumstantial. But like I said, we have to wait and see what other evidence they have. If they have a snitch, if they have videotapes or audio tapes of him saying something, I think that's a lot different than, hey, just make sure you don't associate my name with these guys. Because he could be blaming, Grant or one of these other guys and saying like, hey, these guys are going to do some crazy stuff. And he's like, hey, listen, make sure it doesn't associate with me at all. You can look at that a million different ways. So I'm hesitant to say that they have, a slam dunk case on Dirk Banks. I think that they have a long way to go on Dirk Banks in order to prove the conspiracy against him. I think the others, it's going to be very heavily based on paperwork.
So in other words, I mean, look, I said it before, what a blatant attack. You're shooting in the middle of the day near gas pumps, which could explode. If you make the argument that the case against the shooters is really strong, could there be a situation where they work out an attractive plea deal? I don't know what an attractive plea deal would look like for them, considering what they're facing and what the accusations are, where they turn on Lil Durk. I mean, what would be a scenario that would what kind of deal could be worked out where you're working a deal out with the alleged shooters to go after the principal of this case, or the alleged principal?
It's happened quite often in the past. And if you told me, the deal that Sammy the Bull worked out, right? The guy killed like 19 or 20 people. He ended up getting, I don't know, a year or two in jail, followed by probation. If you told me that was a deal that someone would get for, being associated with 19 or 20 murders, I would tell you that's an impossible deal to get. So it all depends on the hunger of the U.S. attorney and the AUSA that's involved. And if they want this individual badly enough, they'll make very attractive deals for these individuals. What does a very attractive deal look like? I think they go for the lowest hanging fruit. Whoever, didn't actually kill the guy, maybe someone that was involved that didn't actually shoot, or someone that shot, but it didn't hit, they're going to have forensics. So they'll take whoever is the least culpable, and I think that they'll approach him and make a deal with him that'll be the most attractive. And if that guy doesn't make a deal, they'll move on to the next guy. So usually that's what happens, right? You go for the lowest hanging fruit first, the guy that you think will flip, the guy that didn't really have that much involvement. And I think what also is interesting with the indictment is it wasn't just money. They're like, oh, it could have been money, or it could have been career advancement, which is, it's strange to mention that because they don't really go into any kind of facts about it. They just say it could have been, that they would have advanced in their career. But what does that look like? Dirk promised them like a record deal, like doesn't,
or they assumed it. And if they assumed it, that's a weaker case for the prosecution. If it was just like, oh, I assumed if I did this for him,
and that's, so you got it. That's the key, right? They're like, hey, I knew if I helped him out, he would give me a record deal.
Now, let me put a bow on this.
By the way, I want to point this out continually. And, I think it was somebody from THF who said this. And I just think this is very obvious. These guys who are charged are not contract killers, okay? They're not people who don't have any emotion, who don't have any ties to the situation. The get back for King Von, everybody who was in OTF, everybody who was a street nigga who was allegedly associated with Dirk had an incentive to do. They have an incentive because people are saying the entire group got to slide for Von, not just only Dirk. So it's kind of also plausible that Dirk doesn't have to offer y'all money. Now, if he facilitates, I mean, that's still part of offering money, I guess, but not really. But that's part of him being a conspiracy, not necessarily murder for hire. Usually with murder for hire, it assumes that the people doing the killing have no interest in killing the person. They're being hired as murderers. They're being hired as killers, but they don't necessarily care either or that the person gets killed. In this situation, it's not the truth, right? Everybody wants to slide for Von, right? It's not just Dirk saying, hey, here is this money, and that's going to come down to it. Because you know, if they throw these innocuous things like, oh, career advancement, maybe he thought OTF Didi was a great rapper. OTF Didi sat with me on Off the Record. They were trying to promote the guy, clearly. Who knows if he was just like, oh, no, this is just payback for me trying to get your career off the ground because you killed this guy for me. We don't know. Like, that's something that could be argued. As opposed somebody saying in a Dolph situation, you heard what that guy, the Cornelius guy said. He said, yo, I don't know. I'm Dolph from a can of paint. All I know it was $50,000. I need $50,000. That's classic murder for hire. Classic, right? Classic murder for hire. How much money you getting? What was promised? What did you get? Now, sometimes what you get is not what you were promised, obviously, because the cops come in and they fuck it up in the Dolph case. But here, we don't know how much was promised. How much was promised? How much money was on Quando's head? We don't know. And maybe we find out at a point, but right now we don't know.
And talk about what happened after the shooting. The suspects then apparently went to an In-N-Out hamburger stand to talk about payment for the murder. Then they flew home to Chicago from San Diego. Wilson later paid Jones and Lindsay an undisclosed amount of money. That's how prosecutors say this murder plot ended. But the indictment, it charges the 5 named defendants and the 5 alleged co-conspirators with violation of the U.S. Code. It's 1958, use of interstate commerce facilities in the commission of murder for hire. It's part of the statute dealing with racketeering. And because someone was killed, Banks faces life in prison or possibly the death penalty if he's convicted. And all the defendants, they're also charged with firearm possession resulting in a death. The indictment says they knowingly used and carried firearms, including a firearm that defendants Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston knew to be a machine gun during and or in relationship to and possessed such firearms in furtherance of a crime of violence. In so doing, discharged the firearms, resulting in the death of S.R. And defendant Keith Jones, he's also charged separately for knowingly possessing a machine gun, namely a 10 millimeter caliber firearm equipped with an auto sear conversion device, which was designed and intended solely and exclusively for use in converting a weapon into a machine gun, which defendant Jones knew to be a machine gun.
Yeah, wow, talking about Quando Rondo were 10K. A life is priceless, people. Yo, let me tell you this. If I was somebody who's a street nigga, well, I guess it won't matter with me saying it, right? Because you have to think about somebody who's not broke. But if you are somebody who is a killer, the price of you killing someone should not be the price of what you need or what their life is worth. The price should be what you taking that risk should be, right? How much, like, well, if I said to you this, I don't like someone and I want you to kill them, but I want you to give me a price for you to kill them, not based on what you think they're worth, because you don't know that person. You don't care, right? I want you to give me a price based on you taking a risk of getting caught, never going to tell on me, and also knowing that when you get caught, you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail if you get caught. What's the price on that risk? If you tell me the price on that risk is $50,000, first of all, I wouldn't even go for that because it tells me you gotta be suicidal. Sorry. If the price on your freedom is $50,000, I'm good. But that's how it should be looked at. I think when people think, oh, they got money on somebody's head, and you're like, oh, well, Dolph is 100,000. The people who were doing the murder should have said, what price would I consider taking this risk, which has probably a 90% I'm going to get caught ratio. 90%. And if I get caught, I'm doing life. There's a 10% chance I don't get caught. But I also have to move different. I have to do a lot of things and be in a way where I wouldn't get caught. That's going to cost a lot of money. Combine those two things. What's the price for that? Now, that's usually for people who are smart. And obviously, one of the unfortunate things about most of these crimes we're seeing, these guys aren't smart. So, it is what it is.
Machine gun. So, Bradford, I've laid out what we know so far, we expect at this point Banks to be extradited from Florida, where he was arrested, to California to face these charges. Talk to me about the next steps, particularly the issue of bail and how you think that might work with defendant Lil Durk and how that's going to work with the other co-defendants. Let's start there.
Okay, so with Durk, what happens is when you get arrested in the feds have 3 days to get together a bond pass if they request it. So you get arrested, you show up in front of a judge, you say, Judge, we're not agreeing to, pretrial detention, which is what the government always seeks on these type of cases, especially with this type of case. I don't think that they're going to seek the death penalty on this case. It's not one of those cases that would be appropriate for it. I'd be shocked. Shocked. But long story short is when you're arrested in
let's look the last time feds tried to get death penalty in case. Let's look. Okay. We already see something here. Look at this. The federal government, this is 2019, to resume capital punishment after 2-decade lapse. So they didn't go after it for 2 decades, right? Like they're not going to go after it for motherfucking Lil Durk. Up to the attorney general's discretion is going to be these ones. Okay, and I guess these. Let me see. Capital punishment. When's the last time they've went after somebody for? No, those are assassins. List of people executed by the. Okay, when's the last time? All right, the last time appears to be 2001. Yeah, you got to be a terrorist. Look, this guy bombed like a federal building or some shit like that. Like, yeah, you're dying, nigga. 8 federal law enforcement got killed. You're dying. Okay, if they caught them niggas, them little hoodlums, them Alu Wapbar niggas from motherfucking 9/11, they be over here too. Real talk. But nah. They ain't gonna kill no Lil Durk. They don't give a fuck about that. He's gonna spend life in jail.
Another jurisdiction, you can move for bond in that jurisdiction. He can move for bond here and then have the judge in California review that bond if it's denied or even if it's granted. And I've had issues where I filed in Florida, they're arrested in Florida, but it's a case out of, most recently I had a case out of Massachusetts. The judge in Florida granted me a bond and the U.S. attorney in Massachusetts said, I want the judge up here to review it to revoke the bond. And that was denied. But we went for a bond hearing, but the judge in Massachusetts still upheld the bond. So generally down here, what will happen is, okay, he goes in front of the judge. The judge says, hey, you want a bond hearing? I usually say, yeah, I want a bond hearing here as opposed to California because of a couple of different reasons. One is if it's a judge that I know and I know how they behave in court, I can get a lot of information about the case. They put a case agent on, they might put another witness on, and I can find out a lot more details about the case so that when they do go to California, I'm kind of prepared with, okay, I know where they're going with the case. I know what else they have. It's not just this one text, it's something else. I kind of see their case and it prepares me to go to California and then have that case reviewed by the California judge. And now I'm even more prepared for that next bond hearing in front of the California judge. But I don't know what they're going to do in this case. They could just say, hey, judge, extradite him to California. The California lawyers are going to deal with the bond in California and move for bond there. And like I said, once he gets there.
I see some people say Trump would pardon him. Let me look up. When's the last time when has a president ever pardoned a murderer? Oh, okay. Well, they commuted and rescinded convictions of the. Okay, it's been done before, but it was like, look, it's a military court. Most presidents don't pardon murderers. Trump did in May again. Did Trump do it? Oh, so he pardoned a war criminal. Okay, allegedly war criminal. Was American? Okay. All right, and it wasn't even like a full pardon. It was like he commuted his sentence, I guess, right? Yeah, they're not like, again, you know, obviously what people don't know. So the sitting president, which a lot of people don't, I don't know if y'all don't know or y'all just are ignorant of, or you just act like you don't know. They can only pardon federal crimes, not state crimes. Now, obviously, they could have a whole lot of influence if they wanted someone who was charged on a state crime to be pardoned. And I'm not actually sure if the case would need to be completed, or, like it could be a formality where you just take a plea just to get pardoned if it needs to be completed. But yeah, the president of the United States deals with federal crimes, right? Your state governor could pardon state crimes, and again, most cases are state crimes. So, like, I keep telling y'all, we care so much about the president of the United States. Like, if you clapped a nigga in North Dakota, or not clap, because they're not gonna pardon a murderer, bro. But like, let's say it was some crime, you want the governor of that state. Like, for example, even like Meek Mill and like all this shit with like Philly, like Meek is no longer a felon, but that's primarily because of not only the work the reform group did, but also the governor. The governor was rocking with them, and the governor appreciates how much Meek is done with the reform stuff, and they have made it that Meek is not a felon anymore. Meek could own a gun. You know what I mean? So again, state charges, governor; federal charges, president. Okay. However, president could affect the state state charges just based on, because he just has so much power, and the state relies on the feds, as opposed to the feds relying on the state. Could a governor influence a president? I would probably think not, unless it's like a Texas, that those states, like, especially for Republicans, they need, or maybe California for like liberal or Democratic president, right? But not gonna happen anyway.
They'll have a couple days to prepare. The government will have a couple days to prepare. And now, because it'll take a week to get there, they'll have even more time to prepare. That's why I like to do them quick. I like to do bond hearings quick, because it doesn't give them that much time to prepare. And especially when you're in a different jurisdiction, the agent usually has to fly here, prep the U.S. attorney that's here. All those things come into strategy play. My guess is, on this type of case, the judge is probably not going to give him a bond. That's my guess. I kind of know the facts. I know the attorneys that are involved. I don't see where the judge will be, especially the Florida judge, would be like, yeah, this sounds like a case I'm going to give him bond and send him to California. If anything, he's got a better shot in California of getting a bond than Florida.
Now, okay, bet. That's pretty much it. Now, what happened afterwards is that we're having some people speak up on Durk's behalf. Number one, his son came out this morning and spoke. His son's name is Zayden Banks. And his son said, I want to take a moment to stand up for my dad, Durk Banks. He's always dedicated his life to uplifting others and giving back to our community through his nonprofit organization. By the way, I could see the baby mama just typing this out saying, God damn it. Why did y'all about to force us to get a job? Like, what the hell? Give us Durk back. Anyway, even though this is bigger than that, it's family, right? Zayden Banks, I don't know if he's this young. He looks pretty young right here. He looks less than 10. How old is Durk's kids? How old is Lil Durk's kid? Lil Durk children. Let's see. Willow is 5. How old's Zayden? I gotta figure out Zayden. Here we go. How old are they? Angelo is 10 as of 2022. We have Bella. We have Zayden. Zayden is the 3rd. He was born a few months after. Wait. How old is he? So, yeah, she was born in 2013. If Zayden was born a couple months afterwards, 2013 to now is 11. By the way, Angelo, who was born in 2018, he's 2008. Sorry. So he was born in 2008. I think this is the first kid with a white girl. Remember that white girl that everybody used to be Durk first baby moms? Durk was trying to be an attempted milkman out in the streets. You feel me? He was with her. This was Durk's first love, man. They're gonna give a fuck what y'all niggas think, man. Fuck y'all niggas, man. Fuck y'all niggas. You know what I'm saying? Voice of the streets was the voice of the pogs. You know what I mean? Voice of the, you know what I mean? Voice of the, you know what I mean? Exactly. I think their child name is okay. Yeah, Nicole Covone. Is that her name? Oh yeah, Nikki. Yeah, this is her right here. I think Durk started, spreading some bread around to her. Oh damn, this kid grown as fuck. Wait, is this his daughter too? No. Okay. Damn. Durk's son. Yo, shout to her as a mom. Look like she got her kids looking, Yeah. Got Durk's son looking like, you know what I mean? In football and everything. Okay. Okay, I don't know if this is his daughter. Is this his daughter? I don't know if this is his daughter. Damn, her kids. Yeah, this kid look a little bit like Durk. A little bit like Durk. You can see in the eyes. The eyes went. Is that his daughter, though? No. Let me see. Her second child. Does he have a daughter? Yes, he has 3 daughters. Her second child. His second child would. Okay. So this is his daughter. All right, bet. But she was born in 2013. Oh, okay. 2013. So she's 11. So yeah. So these are both Durk's kids. I know Durk had 2 kids with her. I thought Durk had 1. Right? Oh, fire. Okay. And she only got 2? Oh, salute to her. This is why you see. Listen, fuck appearance and fuck whatever else. This is a good woman. She only got 2 kids by the same man. She ain't running around here getting pregnant like a fucking chicken or a hen or a fucking motherfucking dog that's unspaded. Yo, she got 2 kids by Durk. Durk taking care of them. I know it. She probably has some guy in her life because he's not with her. But she don't need to have kids because these days women go from guy to guy and give every guy a kid. Because what happens is when a man gets with you and you got a kid, a man wants to almost like plant his seed. Like, all right, well, if I fuck with you like this and you had a kid by him, you gotta have a kid by me. So these chicks happen to have like 8 baby daddies, right? Like multiple baby daddies. She knows, yo, you good. Durk gave you 2 kids, you straight. Let me see. All right, it's a little thirst trap. Okay, Shardy. Okay. Lost a little weight. She probably got a little trainer. Nah, man. I don't know if she hit the BBL table. Let me see if I can find her. She posts a lot. Hey, this is a good mom. She not out here seeking dick. She's out here posting her kids. Anytime you see a chick posting too much thirst trap, let me tell you this. The biggest whores are the women with kids that post them in bikinis, damn near naked all the time, and you never see their kids. They're still trying to say, come fuck me. Here's the booty, come fuck. The women who are posting their kids, right? Or family things, basically, they're content. They're not trying to be the whores no more. Trust, I promise you, man. Because I'll be looking at certain chicks on the gram. I'm like, damn, this bitch bad as a motherfucker. You start looking through like some highlights or some old stories, or you look at her tags. Who the fuck is this little kid right here? That's her kid she's trying to hide because she's trying to go get a new nigga to be a stepdaddy. You know why? She had a kid with a bum. So now she's like, all right, I got to get back on the track. You know what to get back on the track is? Let me poke this booty out. Let me get the titties poke back up. Let me suck in the waist. And that's what they do. But anytime a sign of a good woman is them posting their kid, honestly, truthfully. Look, she posted more of her kid than her. We don't even know how she look like. Look, she posts one picture. Yeah, this is a good mom. Trust me. Fuck all this shit. She a good mom. I guarantee she a good mom. I promise you. Durk probably sending enough bread, making sure everything's good. She ain't going to be online stressing. She moved out the hood. She here to have a good time with her kids, having fun. She probably got like 1, 2 girlfriends, and you know what I mean? Whatever she do, she keep it off of there. She have a little ass pick. It's all good. But she not trying to go get no rapper. Trust me. Put it like this. You know I'm going to give her credit even with this pitch. I'm going to tell you why. When a rapper nuts in one of these chicks, because a woman never dates down, they date up. She automatically says, well, if Durk want me, gonna want me. Well, if Durk want me, I could get this nigga. Well, if this athlete go holler at me. None of them ever say, no, I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? They start whoring themselves out even more. You get what I'm saying? Trying to get like the next hot guy. You get what I'm saying? That's just usually what it is. So anyway, even though she posts this, it's a woman being a woman. It's all good. I think she's a good mom. I could tell she's a good mom. Kids look wild. They look properly mannered. I don't see them throwing up gang signs. I'm looking at nice pictures from Christmas. Look at her captions, very graceful. My best friends. I like this. Look, you know what I mean? Get mommy's princess. Like, this is good. This is good. This is good. Like, these kids, as much as y'all was trying to clown on her parents, I was too. I ain't gonna lie. She's probably a great mother, and that's good. Look, these kids look really manicured, nice, taken care of. They don't look like Boosie's kid, or Boosie and T.I. kid who acting like, nah, I'm from the trenches though. Like, they don't look like that. They look like they're enjoying suburban lifestyle. My dad is a millionaire. He takes good care of us. We don't need to act yet. We're taking pictures with the mascot. We're not born in a gated community and trying to get out the gated community. This is good. Okay. Bet. Okay. How do we even get there? Okay. All right, cool. So this is Zayden. So Zayden was born. It was born when the daughter was born, which is 2013. So Zayden's like 11. 2013 to like 11, right? So Zayden got a good vocabulary because Zayden wrote this up on Instagram. I want to take a moment to stand up for my dad. Sounds like you probably go to the best schools, right? Durk Banks. He's always dedicated his life to uplifting the community and giving back to others, or giving back to our community. Oh no, uplifting others and giving back to our community through his nonprofit organization, Neighborhood Heroes. Beyond that, he's a great father who has always supported and loved our family unconditionally. Right now, he's facing challenges, but I want to affirm that he has, chat, some of y'all niggas is stupid as shit. Because if this 11-year-old know how to type like this, what the fuck are you doing? Okay. Beyond that, he's a great father who has always supported and loved our family unconditionally. Right now, he's facing challenges, but I want to affirm that he has not been convicted of any charges and remains innocent until proven otherwise. During this difficult time, I ask for you to support him and all the good he continues to do. I would also like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the mayor for standing with my dad. His speech was well said and truly reflects the community's support to those who strive to make a positive impact. Thank you, everybody. This comes from Zayden Banks. That was good. Let's figure out who's his mama, because his mama typed this bitch up. We know that's a fact. Of the mothers unknown, perfect. She's a good mom too. Durk might have picked some good women. Chat, you're picking good women when they're not clout chasing, they're not trying to be in front of the camera, and they're just living through their child. You got a child with a millionaire. He's going to take care of all the kids. You don't need to be over here trying to be on Impact on BT or trying to be on Zeus. Good. We don't know the child's mom. She's probably a great mom. Okay? Anytime you see the child's mom trying to clout chase, whore. Okay. So this is a good child. Good child. All right. Salute you, Zayden, and salute to your mama. I like this. No? Dad been taking care of him good. Got two watches on the wrist. You know what I mean? He ain't throwing up one of these. He's just doing this. Okay. It's like Power Rangers. All right, cool. We got you, bro. I like that. Speak up for your dad. I respect it. I respect this. Okay. Now, I didn't get to play what the mayor had said. Did I get to play it? No, I get to play the mayor. Let me play the mayor chat. Y'all want to hear the mayor? This is what the mayor said.
Mayor, I'm just going back to the whole Lil Durk thing. Obviously, you have engaged with him. We've seen pictures of you standing with him. First of all, can we just get your reaction to the news of this famous hometown person who has an organization that's doing good things with kids being arrested in connection with this and have a follow-up?
Yeah, well, look, I don't know all the circumstances and details around, these accusations. What I do know, though, is that Lil Durk's mission to build financial literacy for children across the city and making other critical investments for the children of the city, where his heart, has been. And I mean, there's no secret to the trauma that he grew up in.
There you go.
And how he has worked to turn that trauma into opportunities for other people.
You were given about a month after taking office a $150,000 campaign donation from him. Do you feel like you should donate that to charity or do something with that money? Is it tainted?
Well, I mean, look, I don't operate in feelings. I operate in truth and justice.
And facts.
And
go ahead.
I don't know all the circumstances around these accusations, but again, what I do know for sure is that here's another example of a young Black man who grew up in severe trauma that led to life choices that he has been very open and vocal about healing from those choices. It's why he's been committed.
Almost healed. Remember, he ain't say fully healed. He said almost. Remember that, chat? He ain't say fully healed. He said almost. You feel what I'm saying?
To finding his righteous path, seeking out, truth and justice through his faith, while also investing in behavior and mental health support for individuals. Look, what
will you do with the money?
Well, as I said, right now we have allegations, right, that he has not been tried. And I understand the question. I don't want you to think I don't understand the question. I'm just saying you're asking me a question about someone who has worked to transform his life, who has admitted that he is on a journey to transformation and has not been charged with anything, has not been convicted of anything. And so if you're asking me if I should make a judgment on a Black man before a full trial has actually come to fruition, I hope you do understand why it is not my position.
You have some reservation. Keep going, brother.
To determine the outcome of someone's life, especially in a system that, quite frankly, has not been overly.
Thank you, Craig. We have one more off-topic question. And
Nah, shout to this brother. Nah, shout to this brother. I ain't gonna lie. Held it down. This is why, hey, I gave you 100. I know like Durk's team, who may not be locked up, is looking like, nigga, we sent you 150,000 for you to get in this position. Let's see if you're gonna kick our back in. Let's see if you're gonna backdoor us, nigga. Kept it 100, kept it solid. Hey, these allegations that might be wild, but we do have to understand that under the American justice system, that someone's presumed innocent until proven guilty. And what I do know about this individual, from my own personal experience, is that I watched him come from a place filled with trauma, and he's been working on himself and also working to help the community by developing after-school programs, by also investing in therapy and also going to therapy himself. He's also became a devout Muslim, and until then, I just don't think it's really in my wheelhouse, or nor is it in anyone's judging facilities to really make that predetermination about these charges about that young man. Again, as far as the money that was given to us, we appreciate his donation, but we don't know the outcome of this. I hope these things are not true, but we do understand the seriousness of these charges. My nigga, I like that. Come on, bruh. Now, truthfully here, and I don't want to think that like this is a place where people are just like underscoring and understanding and just like shoving along violence like it's okay. That's not okay. But look how even the YSL case has turned out. And even whether you think based on what we've seen narrative has been, like the narrative is that, Young Thug was getting niggas killed, right? That's the narrative, right? None of this stuff is kind of being bore out and proven really in court. That case is in shambles. So for everybody who's spoken out against Young Thug, it doesn't seem like he's going to accept or maybe plead to, or maybe even not even plea at all. Maybe he goes to trial and just beats everything. Should we not give people the benefit of the doubt? Right? And again, it's one of those things where I could understand if Durk, for example, the other mayor, there's another mayor, right? There's another mayor of Chicago. No. There's another mayor. Rescinds keys. Key to city. Durk. The other mayor took the key back, right? It was another Chicago suburb, and their mayor said this, okay? It says, while the American justice system grants everyone the presumption of innocence until proven guilty in a court of law, the village of Broadview, the court of public opinion of her residents, has even a higher moral and ethical standard of behavior, and that's why they have taken back the key. Okay, here it is. This is Mayor Katrina Thompson. Now, let me see if I can find her. I want to find her campaign donation list. The Durk. By the way, you're not getting the key to the city unless you donate. Like, they're not like, oh, you're a good guy. Like, it doesn't work like that. This is all a political game. It's like handshakes. Let me tell you this. Once you start getting into politics, this is nothing about like your morality. This is all about, yo, listen, could you help me get elected? Could you help me get in this position? It becomes one hand washes the other. So it's so interesting when people start putting morals in this. Your goddamn election, the people, like, y'all just looked at it today. The people, the highest donors of Kamala or Donald Trump are people that have severe interest in their own business interests. They don't give a fuck about good or bad. Is he racist or is he not? They don't give a fuck. They only care about, yo, if I get you in power, you gonna hold me down for what I need. And when you think about politics, is that, especially when, you know, these campaigns need to be fun, it's a handshake. You stop to think like, oh no, like, oh, Durk. No, Durk, I thought that's a smart move if you ask me about Durk. Start playing politics. By the way, to all y'all rappers who be claiming you terrorize your city, when you start making $100 million, start helping the next mayor get elected. Because, by the way, put it like this. If there was, at least this mayor is trying to keep it chill. If that mayor was still in there, I forgot her name. It's not Lori Lightfoot. Who was the other mayor? No, Rahm Emanuel. If Rahm Emanuel was in power, treating Chicago and how he viewed drill music, like how he did back in like 2013 or whatever, Durk would have been in jail 10 years ago, if you get what I'm saying. You know why? Because he was one of the main factors that drove, or maybe not drove Keith out of Chicago, but kept him there, right? They made it very clear that the Chicago Police Department and also government was not welcoming of Keith. If they did the same to Durk, he'd be out of here. They'd be like, all right, go investigate him. Now, this mayor, I'm pretty sure based on, you know, Durk working with them, this and third, when the police commissioner comes back and says, hey, listen, you know, we could, you know, like based on our reports, we could tie this to this, but we're going to need y'all back in to get the DA to rock off with this. And we could probably get a murder for hire charge on Durk. You know, I'm pretty sure the mayor says, wait, hold on now. Hold on. Charge the niggas who did the killing. But before y'all say a guy like Durk did a murder for hire, relax. He's been a very positive source, a voice for the community, which I'm the mayor of. He's been given money. Hold on now. That's how politics work, right? Ain't no good and bad. Ain't no good and bad. So I'm pretty sure that was a very strategic move. And I'm actually surprised more people don't do that. Like, I think without this political move, Durk would have been arrested 2 years ago. Got to learn how to play politics. Jeff Bezos played politics. One of the two biggest donors for Kamala, Microsoft, Google. What do you think? They just like, oh no, we think you're the best? No. Yo, let's see how your policies could benefit our company. All right, bet. Yo, here's $2 million. Hold that. This is what it is. All right, let's look at her. Donations. We gotta look at donations from her. We probably gotta. I'm pretty sure he donated to her. How much did he donate to her? Let's look. So it's two of them. Obviously, this guy right here, he's standing by Durk. The other one withdrew. Doesn't say how much. I'm pretty sure there was some influence there. Anyway, oh good. She said, while the American system of justice grants everyone the presumption of innocence until proven guilty within a court of law, the village of Broadview, where the fuck is that? In the court of public opinion of the residents, we have a higher moral and ethics standards of behavior, and our partners must reflect the same and uncompromising standards that are demanded by our residents. Given the news that Lil Durk, aka Lil Durk Banks, have been arrested in Florida and charged with murder for hire, the village of Broadview is withdrawing our honorary key to the village granted to Durk and is terminating our partnership's agreement with his youth organization's Neighborhood Heroes Foundation. As mayor, protecting our interests and upholding values is our number one job. This is why I say this be bullshit, chat. Durk came on the scene nationally like 2012, but been rapping really since like 2010. And he was saying, I'm terrorizing the city. Yo, niggas is getting clapped, 500 homicides, there's finna be more. And they still gave him the key, but now they're like, oh shit, no. Whatever. Anyway. Okay, good. Let me let homie rock. Oh, we already played this, right?
I mean, look, I don't, quite frankly, has not been overly.
Okay, cool. So we get that. Now, let me is this the last part of my Durk? Because I think we have been going on with Durk for the last we did about 2 hours on it already. Cool. Well, let me show this part. So,
popular rapper Lil Durk appeared in federal court in Miami today, accused of a murder.
This was his first appearance, which, by the way, CBS Miami, y'all need to fire somebody on your editing team, okay? First and foremost, you're gonna see they have the whole story wrong. They said that Durk slid for the death of somebody named Big Von instead of King Von. Watch this though, and we're gonna see at the end Durk's father, who did show up to court, and I do have a picture of India, who showed up to court as well.
For hire plot.
CBS News Miami's Peter Dench joins us from outside the federal courthouse in downtown Miami, where Lil Durk appeared today. Peter?
Well, Lauren and Elliot, we can...
Is that a rooster? Hey, there's roosters in Chicago?
Lil Durk appeared today. Peter?
Well,
there is a rooster. Look right here.
Lauren and Elliot, we can tell you that federal authorities say the rapper offered a bounty to kill...
What the fuck? There's a rooster in Chicago? Yo, chat, what the hell? Oh, no, this is Miami. Oh, my bad. It's Miami. I'm sorry. It's not Chicago. It's Miami. Why the hell's a rooster just chilling there? This reminds me like some Jamaica shit. Yo, chat, we had like 300 roosters at my crib in Jamaica. What the fuck? In Miami, a rooster just chilling? How'd that work? No, this is not Chicago. This is Miami. This is Miami Federal Court. What the hell?
Lil Durk appeared today. Peter?
Well, Lauren and Elliot, we can tell you that federal authorities say the rapper offered a bounty to kill a rival rapper in Los Angeles. Now he's facing charges including murder for hire, resulting in a death.
Many know rapper Lil Durk for this song. He won a Grammy this year for All My Life. Now that life is darker. The 32-year-old singer, whose real name is Durk Devontae Banks, is facing federal charges including murder for hire, resulting in a death. According to these federal indictments, 5 of his associates, known as OTF or Only the Family Members, took part in the plot. As depicted in these photos from their indictments, authorities say they tried to kill rival rapper Quando Rondo in August of 2022 at a Los Angeles gas station. It resulted in the death of Quando Rondo's 24-year-old cousin after 18 shots were fired. Authorities say it was in retaliation for the murder of Chicago rapper Big Von. They say...
What? The chat, who is this? What are they talking about? Chat, what are they talking about right now? Retaliation for who?
Fired. Authorities say it was in retaliation for the murder of Chicago rapper Big Von.
Wait, what?
Authorities say it was in retaliation for the murder of Chicago rapper Big Von.
No way.
It resulted in the death of Quando Rondo's 24-year-old cousin after 18 shots were fired. Authorities say it was in retaliation for the murder of Chicago rapper Big Von.
Okay.
They say Banks made it known that he would pay a bounty to anyone who killed Rondo, whose real name is Taekwon Bowman. The criminal complaint against Durk Banks says evidence shows that Banks ordered TB's murder and that the hitman used Banks and
Big Von.
ATF-related finances to carry out the murder. Authorities say Banks was arrested Thursday night in Miami Springs as he attempted to flee the United States. In court, a federal prosecutor asked that he be held without bond because he is a flight risk. He will now face another hearing. Outside court, we tried to speak with Banks' attorney and his father.
So that's his pops right there. I'm not too sure. I guess this is his attorney, this white lady here. We're going to have to figure it out. I'm pretty sure he's going to have to get the best of the best. Don't know if she is and don't want to say she's not, but we're going to see the high power. This is where, let me tell you, all the millions don't mean nothing if you ain't getting the right person, right? But this is his father. If you don't know, there's a whole story about, his father was in jail for the majority of his life. And his father actually just came home recently.
They declined to say anything about the charges against Banks or the upcoming hearing. Now, Banks' next hearing will be about his pretrial detention and will be held in the Central District of California since the crime originally happened in Los Angeles. At this point, no date has been set for that hearing.
Okay, so we kind of get that. There is a picture of India appearing as well in court, which means, baby mama and wifey, and actually she's his fiance. She was definitely, there in tow to make sure she's supporting her man. Let me see if I can get that picture. India court. Scrolling. Right here. Here she is. India Royale seen leaving Durk's court hearing in Miami. Okay. Guess this is security right next to her, but all right. Okay. Now, so here we are, and now we're at the point of, I personally believe that Durk was aware of.
Sad to say, Lil Durk has been booked, man. It's gonna be a lot of videos coming out about Lil Durk, man. This is honestly sad, bro. I'm gonna keep it a being. Like, this is actually sad, like genuinely sad. Lil Durk literally had I don't want to say such a promising career because he still has his career right now. He has his album coming out in a month. Lil Durk has so much positive going for him. Like, this case for him is how I see if King Von was still alive for the FBG Duck case, like, he would have got booked the same way. And they're gonna pin everything on Durk. There's already snitches, like what Rex said. There's a murder involved, murder for hire. They're probably gonna come with a RICO case after. This is not state charges. This is federal charges too. So it's very, very, very much different. Man, I can't really say what I want to say because YouTube is very weird, but seeing Durk change his religion recently, they said it's good to be that specific religion while in jail, which I agree. You see a lot of, you feel me, people, that religion, you feel me? It's like they're like a group in jail and they stay together, which is good. But man, going from being a 8, probably 9-figure man, private jets, mansions, to a cell, man, that must do something to you mentally that you can't even fathom, bro. And Lil Durk, honestly, he's like, rap wise, he's like up there. Like, he's the 21 Savages, whichever tier is the Lil Babies, 21 Savage. You put Lil Durk right in that tier, like the tier right under the Kendricks, J. Cole's, Drake's, them. He's literally the tier right below them. And it's sad. Lil Durk's been in the game for so long, man. You told him about Slide for Von. He allegedly really did slide for Von. Now he's in this situation. All we could do is pray and hope for the best. I'm considering myself a realist, and I'm looking at the situation. There's snitches, like all the evidence, like OTF cards for everything, and bro, like Lil Durk is ahead of all of this. Like, I really just hope he doesn't. If Lil Durk gets